Alright, back out here in the shop again today. Got the new fuel pump. I don't know what this brand is. Got it off Amazon. I like Amazon because they have reviews. And this one had good reviews. A lot of other ones had hit or miss reviews. This one had good reviews, and it's supposed to be 7 to 9 PSI. And it came with some other goodies. Fuel filter, which I'm not using for my application. Comes with the fittings. And it comes with hose clamps and a bracket. So what I'm thinking is, and it comes with a bolt for the bracket. What I'm thinking is today, what I'm gonna do is check underneath this cover here, because this is actually where the fuel pump sits in the car. So I'm gonna pull this cover, and the main reason I want to pull off this is because this is where my wiring is for the fuel pump. So I can just switch these wires to my new pump, and then my switch will work the same. I don't have to run wires all the way to the front to operate the switch, because the relay for the pump's back there. So I'm gonna try and see what's underneath there, and then hopefully the fuel pump will mount underneath back there, even if it has to be like somewhere underneath like the trunk floor. But I'll be right back with you guys after I check. Alright, so as I was underneath the car, I noticed that the line that I had originally thought was the feed was actually the return, because one of them had on like a clamp you just pinch with the pliers and pull back, and one had a proper fuel line clamp on it, which I'm thinking, like, why would the return have a fuel line clamp, the other one wouldn't? So it turns out I had them backwards the entire time. This is supposed to be the return, and this is my feed. So I have to rotate all this around so it's right, which also means dirty ass fuel is getting in my carb, so that's not cool. But hopefully if I switch this around, the regulator can work properly and I won't have to install this fuel pump. So we're gonna fix this real quick and then double check, and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright, the lines are switched around. Still need to make a damn bracket for this stupid ass thing, but they're switched around. So hopefully, if these are correct, which I hope they are, this gauge will read a lot lower. That's just a hope of mine. And I had a feeling they were backwards because the fuel, it kept like re-priming these lines every time you turn the pump on, which doesn't make sense unless the fuel's running out. And it was running out because it was on the line that was pointed straight down. But let's turn the car back on, and we're gonna hit the fuel pump switch over here. Alright, I can hear the fluid flowing through there. We're gonna check our gauge. That's the real test here. Alright, we're at 6 PSI, which I still think is too high. But that's as low as it'll go. Yeah, 6 PSI is as low as it'll go right now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start the car up, and I'm gonna see if with it running, it's low enough to run fine. 6 might be good, 6 might not be good. I don't know. It's not blowing out the carb right now, which is good. So I'm gonna start it up and see what happens, and I'll be right with you guys. Alright guys, so the fuel pump, I switched everything back around, ran it. Pressure is still a problem. It's still like leaking out of the carb and shit. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of actually like completely installing the new fuel pump in the back, I'm gonna install the new fuel pump in line right here and just hook it up to the jump pack, so I can know if the new fuel pump works before I go through all the work to splice it in back there. We were actually limiting the fuel pressure with this. Messed up my line a little bit. It's really freaking cold out, so this isn't gonna bounce back right away, but it was still giving us like weird readings, you know. For some reason this thing says it has pressure, so but yeah, it was still running bad, like it wouldn't open all the way up. So I'm not sure if like something with the carbs off, like the float levels or something, or if it's still the pressure. But moving forward from that, I really don't even want to mess with it. I'd rather just get fuel injection and call it a day. But I did order all the stuff for my clutch, new master cylinder, instead of trying to fiddle around and make this one work. You spent the extra 50 bucks. So new master cylinder, new high. Alright, so I ran out of space, but I deleted some videos just now. I'm back. But gonna get all that stuff done. I didn't, next paycheck I'll be able to buy a drive shaft. So then comes fuel injection after all that. But for now we're gonna keep fiddling with the car. But today I'm gonna get on the plasma cutter and make some stuff that I've been putting off that's actually a lot more fun. I don't think I showed you guys, but here's my hatch. I didn't finish it. It needs to be aligned still. It's still a little bit out, but it looks fucking killer if you ask me. I think it looks gorgeous. It came out so freaking sick. I still need to get the plate made for the middle, but that's another day. For now, we're working on the wing. My end plate was FUBAR, so I'm making a new one. Alright, so today's just a day of fucking complications, but it's over here actually. My camera died, so new batteries are in, and I'm gonna show you guys the end plate. Here's what I'm pretty much working with. I freehanded this. It's not done yet. I've realized what it was missing, so I'm gonna fix it, and then I'm gonna make another one of these on the plasma cutter to match the other side. Here's what I'm doing. I'm just adding a curve to the top of this plate, because every other edge is curved, and I feel like this curve not being there is why it looks so weird. So that matches the belly of the wing, so hopefully it looks good. We're gonna test it. If it looks good, I'm gonna trace this one onto this one, and then I'll have two. So I'm gonna hop on the plasma cutter and try and get this as close as I can. Alright, so I took the flap disc to it to get the perfect shape, and this is what I came up with. Not too bad for being freehanded. I didn't think I was going to like this point. I mean, it would literally take your eye out, but I think it looks really aggressive. And I'll show you guys what it looks like on the car. Like I said, it's going to follow like that probably, and I think that looks pretty damn good. It kind of follows, like I said, that belly there, so it looks super, like, a lot more aggressive in my opinion than those end plates that were just flat on the top. This piece was cut out of a bigger piece of this sheet metal. I didn't realize it was a larger portion, and it won't fit. So what I'm gonna do is, this is a cutoff from when I made this. I'm gonna weld it on here, flap disc it smooth on both sides, and then since I'd rather just start with a flat piece of metal, but I mean, these pieces of sheet metal are like $20 a piece. They're not that cheap to just be buying. Not that I won't use it, but I'd rather just not spend the $20. I'll do this because it's going to be wrapped and it's going to be painted. I don't think you'll be able to see it if there's any imperfections in it per se, or it's got like a wave in it. The wrap and stuff should hide it. So I'm going to get to this, and then we're going to cut it out and make it match. Not too bad. Not too bad at all. The start and stop sucked, but not too terrible. I'm gonna flat disc all that down, make sure it's straight as I can get it, and then we're gonna trace and cut. Alright, so here's the second plate. As you can tell, the edges are all rough. This is the edge I welded on. But the top plate, the original plate, is clamped on top. That's how much material I have to remove all the way around. What I did was I actually clamped this to the piece of metal and used it as a guide for the edge of the plasma cutter. So I just got to trim off that extra bit with the flap disc, and I'm using these clamps to hold it in place, and I'm going to move them around as I work it around so that every edge gets held in and it comes out perfect. And when I come back to you guys, we're going to have two perfectly symmetrical, Jesus, I almost tripped. Two perfectly symmetrical end plates, and we can figure out how to. Alright, so here's my second wing end plate, and this one's actually going to go on the driver's side because this inside edge where I welded on is a little bit wonky, but the outside's perfect, and it actually matches this plate beautifully. I just unclamped them from being together. So next is figuring out how the hell to drill these. Alright, so the end plates are done and drilled and on, and they look sweet. I don't have any black spray paint, so we're going to have to paint these tomorrow, and I'm probably going to have to get the heat on in my wonderful shop to do that, because it's like 30 degrees out right now, and the paint is going to come out like absolute shit. So didn't get the hardware, but I think the end plates look gorgeous. It looks super aggressive with like the trunk and everything ties together. I need to remake these cross braces. They're hard to see, camera won't focus, but little tensioners. My wing's still a little bit racked, so doing that will help. Also need to fix these rivets from when it got hit, but I'm just gonna end it here for the night. This video was supposed to be about the fuel system, but we didn't really get anywhere with that, so we had some fun with the end plates. The dust shield didn't get made. I'm not searching in the dark for the metal to do it, and it's not really a priority. Neither were the end plates, but I had the stuff in here to do it. So I need to find, I think I'm just gonna use a piece of aluminum that I have outside for that, but so next time, guys, that's it. Later.